Welcome back, OG fam. It has been a minute, but we are back today with a special preview of the gym before our first birthday. Happy with that one for camera. Welcome back, OG fam, to the OneGym YouTube. It has been a minute, but we are back today with a special preview of the gym before our first birthday. So what we're going to do today is basically run you through all the new pieces that have just arrived at OneGym. We have 51 pieces of Prime, Fitness and Arsenal Strength, fresh off the boat, out of the containers. It has been 12 months since we ordered this equipment, and a lot of delays, a lot of extra costs from COVID, hold-ups and freight and stuff as well. However, it is time to show you what we have been waiting for. All right guys, so when we originally planned OneGym, we wanted it to be something different. We didn't want it to be just another Anytime or another Snap Fitness out there. We had found that over the last few years, the culture from Australian gyms had seemed to be lost a little bit. We found it in some gyms, but few and far between. So the idea with OneGym was to build a community, was to build a family, but also give that community and family the absolute best equipment sourced from all over the world. And what we've done essentially is had the last of our equipment arrive now, being Prime Fitness and Arsenal Strength, and it is by far at the moment the absolute best in the world. I'll show you why. So starting with our leg area, guys, this whole area at the moment is just for legs. So it's a little leg dungeon if you like, but again, we've decked it out in the absolute best of what Arsenal and Prime have to deliver, on top of the great pieces we already had as well from Hammer Strength and Cybex and Integrity also. So we've got the Arsenal GHD machine here with ham raise with our Hammer Strength on as well. Also got this one here, which is the Arsenal Multiflex. So the Multiflex is really cool because it's sort of like a base squat or sort of like a shrug machine that you see like from Hammer Strength as well. However, with the arms, you've got, first of all, two handles. So one multi-directional handle here as well to allow for a greater or more comfortable wrist position. We've also got this lower handle here as well, so you can pick it up right from the floor and get really low with your range of motion. Now, this also has the ability to swing in and out and up and down. So whether it's single arm rows or shrugs or squats, like you use this one here for squats. We can also raise the pin here and do like a split squat as well. So this is one of my favorite pieces from Arsenal, purely because the range of different movements you can do with the one piece. So really, really cool. You can also adjust this up and down, again, depending on how tall you are. The handles, you can adjust in and out. One of the great things with Arsenal is everything seems to be adjustable. So you can really find the absolute best setup for you. All right guys, so with the Arsenal leg press, this is a unilateral leg press. We have the Integrity one. Now the Integrity leg press was probably the best leg press I've ever personally used. We already had that here at OneGym. I wanted to go for the unilateral leg press from Arsenal, so it's slightly different from the Integrity, but we can also use this as a bilateral piece as well. So when it's in the unilateral, we simply engage and disengage from the back here as well. We can load it from either side. When it's disengaged, what you'll find is we come down. Now we can use this on either side. Or we can plug it in together and then use them both at the same time. So really unique, because when you're pressing through one line here, it feels like you're centered. Sometimes when you're doing a unilateral or a single leg press on like one with one platform, it feels like you have to sort of be off-centered, leaned over, and your mechanics can feel a little bit out as well. But with this one here, it's really easy to stay nice and centered through the hip to your heel. It feels a lot more natural. Guys, we also have the vertical leg press from Arsenal as well. So I think it's really important to have the vertical. A lot of people relate this movement similar to a squat but on a leg press. So again, it's no lower back loading, no spinal loading at all, but a really good range of motion. And this one here, because you can adjust it, just hits, feels like it hits right where it needs to through the movement. So a really good leg piece there as well. We've got the Arsenal V squat here. So with the V squat, we can obviously work this one here from in front, like this, or for RDLs, or we can, of course, turn around and come underneath, and then work it through a squat motion from here as well. Now, again, because it's Arsenal, everything's adjustable. So we can adjust the platform up or down as well. Again, depending on what sort of angle we want our ankles to be on as well for what movement. A lot of the Arsenal pieces have these extra supports down below where we can band as well. Again, to increase tension using bands top or bottom. Arsenal belt squat. So I actually used this last Friday and I loaded it up, and at the moment I have a bit of tendonitis in my knees, so it's an ongoing issue. But one of those things where too much hack squat, even too much leg press, and it really builds up the tension on my quad tendon and top of my knee, and it's on both knees at the moment actually. And at the bottom range of motion, bottom of the movement, it's almost unbearable at times. So when I was using this machine, I was I loaded it up and I was waiting for the knee pain to come. Oh.
Say that again. Going through it.
So you come through, clip it together from the front, stand up, pull this back. Now this is here, it's like a safety squat, a safety bar, or a spot for your door. So essentially we can raise or lower the platform, again to get more ankle flexion or less. But from here, the great thing is the line of pull is straight through the floor. So it's straight from my waist down through my feet. Why it's so good, why I like the belt squat so much is because it's a true squat movement. However, there's no lower back loading. I'm putting nothing above my shoulders that's going to compress my spine. It's actually decompressing the spine almost because it's pulling from the waist down, which is really almost lengthening the lower back, like my facet joints and my QLs. From here, we come down, back up. If you go closer, you can find the belt will push against your adductors on the way down, but slightly wider stance, push back in. Now, people have also connected like a D handle attachment to this as well, and used it like a squat. Sorry, like an RDL. So pulling down and RDLing, or even rowing. So again, a bit versatile in the different movements you can do with this as well, but a great piece, the Arsenal belt squat. All right guys, so the Arsenal pendulum squat now. We here call it Thor's hammer because it's got this big piece that looks like Thor's hammer at the top here. And what that is the counterweight. So it counterweights the movement on the way down and up, and and just gives a totally different feeling to the pendulum. So the most traditional pendulum, or the most common pendulum you'll see in Australia, is the Watson one, which is okay, but it does feel very fixed, and for me it can cause a lot of knee pain as well because of the fixed position of it. It's not really adjustable. We can adjust this platform up and down, and with the counterweight, it just feels really nice. So on the way down, so a really challenging and humbling movement. I've seen people already in the week that's been here load up 3-4 plates. And I've just had a little giggles myself because I had a 130 kilo client in here. I was PTing him, and we had 20 kilos on this machine max, so 2 10s, and it was like 12 to 15 max reps with proper form, with proper tempo movement. So really humbling, but also very nice because you don't have to use a lot of weight to overload the quads, and it is purely quads. You can put your feet a little bit higher on the platform to get some glute and hamstring in there as well. However, the correct way to use the pendulum, I believe, is a lower full position, so it's all quads. Here guys, we have the Arsenal glute thrust or hip thrust machine. Essentially comes over, so sometimes if you're using a barbell, you get really uncomfortable in the hips, or with the strap, again, you can get uncomfortable through the hips. But with the pad, it's really comfortable to come up and down with that one as well. So that's the hip thrust. Again, the platform is adjustable up and down, depending on what angle you want. All right guys, so here we have the Arsenal posterior developer. If I was to liken this to any movement, it would most likely be the barbell good morning, okay? Potentially RDL, but most likely the good morning. So the way that it works is, it's gonna work the whole posterior chain. Posterior being our glutes, hamstrings, back. We load the bar from here. We can adjust the foot pad in or out. We can adjust the quad pad in or out. We can adjust the actual bar or back pad in or out as well. So we can find the absolute right position for us. Your ankles want to be back against the foot pad. Your quads, slightly bent knee, not a fully straight knee, slightly bent knee, and quads up against the quad pad. You come under, pull this safety catch out. Now, the weight is forcing us down. I stretch as far as I can forward and stand up using my glutes and hamstrings. So stretching through the hamstrings. When I feel the stretch, contract up. Contract up. Contract up. Contract up. All right, so most people who know me know that I'm notorious for lower back pain. But using the posterior developer for the last week or so, I've done 2 heavy sessions on this one here. I was able to load up 4 plates, really controlled. Loaded up, and I felt no lower back pain, but I felt my glutes and hams, a little bit of my spinal erectors, but in a good way, just absolutely light up. So for me, this is really exciting because again, I've had to stop doing pretty much all RDLs, all squats, all deadlifts, loading movements, because it was just, the pain was just unbearable. My session was okay, but afterwards I would be crippled for days. So really excited to have this one at OneGym. Here we have the Arsenal glute drive machine. Really excited because we've got a couple of kickback machines here for the glutes from Life Fitness and from Precor, the Icarian. But this one here is an upright. Come down into position, T. Had to do that one for the camera. It's a really heavy stack, so if anyone can come in here and glute kick back the full stack, I'll give you a year free membership because that's fucking heavy. So really got to work that top shelf exactly the way we want to. So it's really exciting to have this piece here because I haven't seen a lot of pieces around that actually hit the glute or the top shelf in that way with an upwards kickback. So that's the Arsenal glute kickback machine. So here we have the Arsenal unilateral or single leg hamstring curl standing. So again, this one's nice because it's pin loaded. So if this one here, different to most, you're just standing the whole time. I like to sort of come out a little bit so my leg here is stretched, so it's under load essentially, and then I move my non-working leg forward and curling up. And it's really good because we can do a quick change between this to the other leg. That's the Arsenal unilateral leg curl. So with Prime, they're I suppose famous for having either the torque arm or the cam selection on the pin loaded range, which allows you to adjust the point of movement you want to hit the most during the exercise. So what I mean by that is essentially we can load this number one. What it means is it's going to be middle range. So it's going to be even through the whole movement like most machines. Okay, so it means from the starting position through to the end position, it's going to be the same resistance. By moving this to the bottom, number two, the beginning of the movement easier, the end range of the movement harder. So it's going to overload the end or the contracted position. By loading this at number three, we're now going to make the beginning of the movement, so in a stretch position, the hardest. So going to overload the start range, and it's going to be easier in the end range or the contracted position. So it's really unique because you can use this to target different areas according to your strength curve, or according to which area of the muscle you want to hit the most. And again, you can do this on all Prime pieces. In particular, and most, is I'm always going to load in the middle range because that gives a nice base weight, I suppose, to the actual movement. But then I'll either load the top or the bottom, depending on what I want to target. So with the leg extension, on the middle and the top, number three. So what that means is it's going to be slightly harder at the start in the stretch position where I'm strongest, and slightly easier or less loaded at the top position where I'm weakest. So as we hop in, so now we have the most load here now in the stretch position where I'm, again, the strongest. Loaded, 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 backs off, backs off, backs off. So now the less loaded in this top position where I'm weakest. So the reason why I like to load it like this personally is because as I fail, traditionally, if this is loaded only through the middle range, as I fail, I wouldn't be able to complete the full rep. So I'd be like, close to failure, failing, failing, failing. I do these partials down here. Okay, why partials at the bottom? Because I can't get all the way up. Why? Because I'm stronger here than I am up here. So by doing it this way, and again on most pieces, I'm able to maybe get an extra couple of reps, because as I'm starting to fail, it's actually matching my strength curve. So I'm strongest here, weakest here, strongest here, weakest here. So 1, 2, or 3 reps extra because it's matching your strength curve, which means you're not just partialing the end of the movement or the end of your set because you can't get it past that range. It enables you to go full range, again, in line with your strength curve. That's a Prime extension. It's really, really comfortable as well. It's hard to explain how this feels different in terms of comfortability compared to like the hammer strength or other leg extensions, but everything is quality on these pieces. And to sit in, I just feel like I'm in the driver's seat. It honestly feels crazy, crazy good. That's a Prime leg extension. All right, guys, here we have the Arsenal Smith machine. We have the Integrity Smith machine already at OneGym, which is a vertical straight up and down. So with the Arsenal, just want this one to be on a slight degree. So basically it's just inverted a little bit like this way here. Nice when you're coming up to like an incline press or even in a squat to have that range of movement slightly inverted, again, either back or forwards, depending on which way you face. But the Arsenal strength Smith machine, really, really smooth. and just feels a touch above in terms of the control you have with it as well. So happy to have that here at OneGym. Here we have the Prime Fitness seated leg curl pin loaded. So again, different from the plate loaded, obviously with the pin loaded and the way that we can actually adjust the loading. So we don't have to move any plates around. We just adjust the cam. So I can move this cam up or down again between 1, 2, or 3. So we can target different areas. It can be in between middle to high range or in between middle to low range. So not to get too difficult at all. So on this one here, I like to not have it all the way in the beginning range hardest or focused. I like to make it in between middle and the beginning range. So what that means, again, we can adjust the actual system like this. We come in. So now, with this movement, it's hardest here, easiest there. So again, it means that as I fail through this movement, I'm still able to complete a full range of motion. Squeeze at the bottom, all the way up, and as I fail, rather than doing a couple of partials at the end, a couple more reps, strongest, weakest. So that's the way that I load the actual machine. So when Americans engineer a machine like this, and the mechanics, how long the lever arm should be, the back supports, everything about it, it's actually engineered closest to how we are as well. That's why I believe that the best 4 brands in the world would either easily be Hammer Strength, Cybex, Prime, Arsenal, because they're engineered in America and they just feel so comfortable for us. That's the Prime Fitness seated leg curl. So here we have the Arsenal Strength 45-degree back extension. Now, this is a piece that created a lot of buzz and excitement around OneGym because of its height, because apparently it allows shorties to get into a better stretch or position when they use this machine. We had the Hammer Strength one here, which is really sturdy. What we found was when we had shorter people using this, they'd have to block out the bottom to allow their hips to get high enough over the actual platform, things like hip extensions for glutes and hams and things like that as well. Yeah, perfect. Ribby, come. Show us. Jump on this one as it stands without any additions on it and show us how high it comes for you.
Couldn't do shit.
So it's really restrictive in terms of where it's hitting on Ribby's hips as you come forward, it's come down. It doesn't allow her to come to complete stretch for her glutes and hams. Enter the Arsenal, which we can lower right down. Jump on there, Ruby. Now we see the hips are up here. So now when she performs, get the stretch all the way down. Arsenal, 45-degree back extension. Again, has these additions, so you can use bands as well, but it's a really, really versatile and great for short people. All right, so here we have the Prime Lat Pulldown and the Prime Extreme Row. So both plate loaded. Again, we can load both on the first, second, or third lever arms. Again, to change the way we want to load the actual machine. Lat Pulldown is really good because again, we can come into the machine, and with the handles, when we load it, we can make it easier here and harder here, because again, we're strongest here and least strongest here. All right, so guys, this is a Prime Fitness Extreme Row. One of my absolute favorite pieces of equipment. Again, reason why, and I believe that a well-developed back has to have or incorporate a lot of bent over rowing in the actual program. So with the Extreme Row, we're able to come down and lie flat and row neutrally with a hammer grip, or focus on the upper back with a wide grip. Again, we can load the movement on the lower, middle, or top range, so we can make it harder, easier, or easier and harder, depending on what we want to target the most. Me personally, I make it hardest here and easier here. So when I say easier, it's not like, you know, half the weight. It just takes away some of the load towards the top, and that allows me to complete the rep with full range of motion and get a really big squeeze at the top and come down, and again, just suits my natural strength curve. We can also do this one unilaterally or single arm. So I can come up over the machine, still lying against the bench, taking my lower back out of it, but rowing single arm like this. And I get a really good hit on my lower lat by using the machine this way. We can adjust it up or down so we can be closer or further away depending on our arm length as well, and also up or down depending on what part of the back we want to hit, whether it's upper back, lower back, or in between. That's the prime extreme row. So guys, here we have the Arsenal multi-grip seated row, and we also have the multi-grip, it's also a seated row, but like more of an upper grip. This is the multi-grip seated row. So with the multi-grip, you'll see here on the actual grips, we can grab it underhand, underhand, neutral, overhand. So again, really, really versatile, depending on what part of the back you want to hit. We can also, with the Arsenal pieces, adjust the stop-in length. So we can actually bring this out or in, depending on, again, how short or tall we are. Seated, and again, we can use this for like an upper back squeeze, more neutral squeeze, a bit lower, or overhand. So really versatile in terms of how we can actually, or what area of the back we can hit. Really, really comfortable to use. As we come around, we also have the Arsenal seated row here. But this one here is again unique because it has these handles which are multi-directional, which means we can move in a really natural wrist position through the motion. We can choose to row underhand, overhand, neutral, or again, let our wrist move in the most natural way or strongest way that we feel. As with all the Arsenal, everything's adjustable and everything just feels super high quality, really, really comfortable. And again, just feels like it was made to suit us. So these are the Arsenal seated rows. All right, so guys, here we have the Arsenal seated chest press. This one's unique because again, we can adjust the focus whether in or out of chest. So what I mean by that is we can adjust this way, we can use it this way here in the middle, or we can adjust the arms to be slightly out. So we've got more width in the way we want to hit the actual chest. So obviously the wider position here, we're going to target the outer portion of the chest. If we move these back towards the middle, they're actually going to hit more of a inner chest. So again, very unique. Very smooth. Back's adjustable in and out. The seat is also adjustable up or down. But again, I've never seen a chest machine they're actually able to adjust inwards or outwards from a fixed position like that. So that's the Arsenal seated chest press. So here we have our chest fly or chest press machines, incline. So we've got the Arsenal incline chest press and we have the Prime incline chest press. Now, the Arsenal, first of all, is again adjustable in terms of how high you actually want the starting position to be, but also has handles that come either from a wide position or you can grab in a neutral or hammer position so we're going to target that inner chest and perhaps a little more tricep as well. So the feeling of these, again, you have to sort of use it to sort of see what I mean, but the way the actual arms move up and down gives you an amazing contraction top to bottom. Again, whether you're in the middle position or out of position, feels sensational. Again, you can adjust that starting position to suit your range. With the prime, the incline, we actually adjust this one again with the torque arm to overload certain areas of the movement. So again, 1 being middle range, 2 being the end range, 3 being the starting range. So when I load this one here, I'll load it first of all through number 1, so it's a strength, or it's load the whole way through, it's consistent. Then I'll slightly bias towards number 3, being the starting range, so it's harder here, slightly easier up in that contracted position. Again, that just suits my strength curve. So as I push through the movement, and we've had guys come through already and say that this piece in particular is their favorite. Really, really smooth. These are the incline Arsenal and incline prime chest press. All right guys, here's the prime shoulder press. I know I've said it about most pieces today, but this is the best shoulder press I've ever used. Again, with the torque arms, you can load between middle range, end range, beginning range. However, at first when I used this machine, it felt slightly odd because it felt like as I pushed up and out or up and through this range of motion, it felt almost like I was pushing outwards. I'm used to, with most shoulder presses, almost converging and pushing overhead. But as I went through the actual set, it felt more and more and more comfortable. So again, the prime seated shoulder press, absolute game changer. Right, so guys, here we have the Arsenal overhead tricep extension. So massive piece, massive footprint, really heavy. But one of the easy bar is used for the grip. From here, allows for a really great stretch and nice contraction. This bar sort of moves in and out, if you can see. So it means it really goes through a natural range of motion as we extend up. So really good stretch, full extension, full extension, full extension. That's the Arsenal Strength tricep overhead extension. Right, so guys, we've got the Prime Fitness Preacher Curl Machine, pin loaded. Again, we've got the cam where we can actually adjust the strength curve. I always bias towards being hard in the stretch and slightly easier in the contracted position. This also has unilateral arms, so you'll see that these arms move independently, which means we can focus on one side at a time, like this. And again, with the way this is set up, is that it's hardest here, then it eases up here. I have a client who suffers with some elbow tendonitis and finds that when his arm is under load in this lengthened position, his elbow feels the worst. When he's up here, it's okay. So we load his movement the other way, where it's hardest here, easy down here. What that means is he can get a really good squeezing and traction up here, but still take this through a fairly full range of motion. And because it's slightly easier down in the bottom, he doesn't get that same elbow pain in that range of the movement. So again, really, really unique because you can change the loading patterns to overload different ranges of the movement, again, according to what you want to target on. That's the Prime Fitness Preacher Curl Machine. All right, so guys, here we have the pec deck rear delt machine from Prime. So this is really popular as well in the gym. The reason why is because the way that it's set up, it's hard to depict, but the way the arms move is slightly almost upwards as you actually squeeze through the movement, whether it's the rear delt or the pec fly. And what that means is, it means like, so it feels like you scooping the chest up and through, and the contraction just feels amazing as you move through that plane of motion. So again, With the smart cam, we can adjust it so it's easier or harder in different positions. Being pin loaded, has a really nice heavy stack. And it's really easy to change between your pec fly and your rear delt. And again, even in this position here, because of the way that this plane of motion almost travels up as you contract, it just feels really, really nice. So that's the prime pec deck rear delt fly combo. So one of the main things, or one of the things I really wanted to have at OneGym before I declared it a gym at all, was a crossover cable multi-station. So this is a 8-station cable crossover. Obviously we've got the cedar row, lat pull down, and then the adjustable cables with the cable crossover. Not much different about this cable crossover compared to most. However, it's built heavy duty as fuck and looks sick. So definitely can call it a gym now. We have a cable crossover multi-station. Right, so guys, here we have the Arsenal Strength Incline plate loaded fly machine. So I've used a few of these, mainly the Watson variation, but I found that with the Watson variation, particularly only because that's the main one I've used and the main one you'll see, is that it wasn't really comfortable. So when you actually got into position, it felt like you lost sort of tension on the pec at a certain range, and the mechanics didn't really suit well. Now again, this one here, from everyone who's used it, it's got a curved bench. You get a really nice opening to the chest at the bottom for a really nice stretch. And as you come up through, it just keeps tension exactly where you want it on that chest. I personally focus on bringing my biceps together, not really worried about where my hands touch or don't touch. If you fly like this, you're losing half the range. So I keep my arms extended, slight bend to the elbow, come out for a stretch, biceps together, biceps together. But again, I feel like I get the range or the targeting on the muscle exactly where I need it, the full way through that range of motion, top to bottom. So the Arsenal Incline Fly Plate Loaded Machine. All right guys, another cool piece here, the Arsenal T-bar row. So again, nice because you can adjust these handles in or out depending on what you want to hit the most. Got the inner grips, mid grips, and then the ultra wide grips here as well. So feels really secure and really nice to use. I also like it because when you load it up with 20s, I use the Watson one as an example, and with the Watson T-bar row, the 20s actually hit me before I could complete the range of movement. So with this one here, the weight stays away from you from top to bottom. It just feels really nice. So that's the Arsenal T-bar row. So guys, I also have the Prime Fitness assisted chin or dip machine. Again, nothing too fancy with this one here compared to others. Really, really easy to drop in and out through the hydraulics. Again, like most Prime, just feels really solid. So whether you're using it for pull-ups or dips, nice heavy weight stack, and feels really, really solid for the whole range of motion. Really happy to have this one here at OneGym, the Prime assisted chin and dip machine. All right guys, we have the Arsenal Strength side raise machine as well, pin loaded. So again, we have the Pinata here, the multi-fly, which is a really nice piece as well, which is slightly different again in the way that it moves. Obviously the adjustable or swivel handles here, a really nice natural feel to the mechanics of the movement. Counterweight it perfectly. So that's the Arsenal pin loaded side raise machine. All right, so we also have our fixed benches here now as well by Arsenal. So we've got the incline, the flat, and the decline. Again, all gyms should have some kind of fixed bench option. I know that there was a lot of rumors out there that said Mike hasn't even got an incline fixed bench at OneGym. Well, now I do. So the Arsenal, and again, really happy to have these ones here as well. I didn't go with just some generic ones or some easily available ones in Australia, because these are built to last. And again, they look amazing being Arsenal in the black. So the Arsenal incline, flat and decline fixed benches. All right, so guys, here we have our prime functional trainer. So I've seen the guys from like Revive, Raw Gym use this a lot in Valle and Brett Wilkin and over at Dragon's Lair as well. But really cool because obviously you can adjust it all the way in, all the way out, and then all the way up and all the way down. So as it suggests, it's really diverse in terms of the type of movement you can do with this one in particular. Has a really heavy weight stack, and obviously we got it with a bunch of the prime handles as well. So obviously the CAS grips, small and large options, the single arm or single handle grips as well, and then obviously all the long and short attachments. So the prime functional trainer, again, just really diverse in terms of what you can do with it. Arsenal strength, just single station for like knee ups and whatnot as well. Now, we also got through a bunch of different Arsenal benches. So some unique stuff like this one here is the Arsenal row bench. So again, it's made so that you can take your lower back out of the row movement itself. Now we have the ability to use the bar. So you unrack the bar and row. Or we can put dumbbells in here. And the dumbbells sit in here and we can unrack it and row or shrug or fly and then put the dumbbells back down nice and easy like that. So it's a really unique piece. I haven't seen anything like this before because you can do a dumbbell or a barbell row. I've seen those seal row machines or seal benches where you lie flat on the bench as well. But I find that even though I'm chest supported, because my back is up, I feel a lot through the lower back still, even in that position. And my sort of face has to sit through this hole. It feels funny. Whereas this one here, you sort of stand up, your back's in a really nice neutral position, really comfortable, and you can row really easily. So I like this one so much. I got two of them. I got one here, I got one here as well. Arsenal dumbbell row. So I set this up with my knee up. I like to put my supporting leg not too far back. I like to put it nice and up in line with my other knee. Go on the dumbbell. And a really nice natural range of motion. When you're done, dumbbell there. Swap over like this. Really nice, no lower back and really well supported. It is not made to ride a bike. We had a lot of our members come through and sit down and go, what does this machine do? Ruby was one of them. Ruby didn't know what the fuck was going on. Anyway, that's the dumbbell row bench there. Really cool. We have this arched bench, which is really nice. So again, a row variation, so we can sort of hang over the top like this, but also for any sort of pressing movement, so we can get a really nice arch to open the chest up and push through. Now, obviously, got through a bunch of adjustable benches as well from Arsenal. Really nice in terms of the thickness of the padding. And again, they just feel they're gonna last forever. So really happy to get these in. Obviously, a bunch of prime wedges And we also have this one here, which is really unique, a double-sided preacher curl. So with the preacher curl, these are actually dumbbell holders. So we can come through, reach down, grab the dumbbell and curl, and then put the dumbbell down nice and easy. So a bit of a luxury item, but really cool because you don't have to lug these heavy dumbbells up and down just to get them up there. Double-sided preacher curl machine. Our last piece we have here that I want to show you guys is the donkey machine. So with the donkey machine, as suggests, donkey calf raise. So come underneath, up, really smooth, really stable. The Arsenal donkey calf raise. Right, so guys, that's a complete walkthrough of all the new Prime and Arsenal pieces that have just landed down here at OneGym. It's pretty cool that they landed in time for our first birthday. Obviously, we did expect them to come much earlier. However, everything happens for a reason. So to have them all here to celebrate our first birthday, thinking back or thinking forward, we couldn't have actually planned it any better. So really, really pumped to have all the pieces finally here. It's a little bit cramped for now. We do have some future plans for some mezzanines to create a bit more space. However, at the moment we're just spoiled for choice, which, you know, I think anyone who loves gym and, you know, is passionate about equipment and variety in their training will agree that you're having the choice of machines that we have is definitely worth, you know, the couple of little step rounds you might have to do in the gym. And it's actually great because obviously with the capped membership, you know, we don't have 1,000 people through here at one time. We don't allow it. Although it is a little more cramped than what I would probably like, because we don't have the amount of foot traffic that some gyms allow or have in the gym, it still works. So we're really, really happy to bring this range, this setup to our members. You know, I really feel now that, not even being biased, but we have the best equipped gym in the country, you know. So people have come in here and already gone, wow, this feels like Dragon's Lair or Revive or Raw Gym. Some of the popular gyms that you see on Instagram and YouTube, simply because of the range of equipment and brands that we have here. You know, I don't know anyone else who's bringing all the Arsenal, all the Prime to Australian shores. You know, it takes too long and it's too expensive. So I'm glad we made the investment. I'm super proud of what we've achieved. I'm so thrilled every day to hear the comments from the members about just being, you know, totally overwhelmed with what we've done and what we've created here. And I do hope, I know it will, but I do hope that it creates some kind of catalyst for change for a lot of other gyms to think about the way they invest back into their members by giving them new equipment, by giving them, you know, different pieces of machinery from all over the world, allowing them to experience just how good training with this type of machine or this type of equipment can be, because it's really, really unique. I think in total, including all the dumbbells and the attachments and everything as well, we had about 50 new pieces come through. It's like I said, it's a big change. We managed to fit it all in throughout the whole gym, and it's definitely made this place, again, even more special and take it to a new level again as well. So thank you for joining me on the tour today as well. If you're in Melbourne, traveling from interstate, if you message us on Instagram, we would love to sort of have you through here as well. We don't do walking casuals. However, if you are traveling from interstate and you want to come and visit the gym for just a once-off session as well, which is to a walk around, don't forget we have the one recovery room as well. We've got the OneGym posing room, all the cardio is upstairs as well. So with the cafe, it is truly a one-stop shop and will cater for anyone. So thank you again. Thank you to Corey behind the lens, FD Media, shout out for all the best content, graphic design. He is your man. Thanks to the members of OneGym, the community, the family that we have here, for allowing us to build around you, to invest back into you as well, and for making this the place of what it is, because it's not OneGym without its members and its family. Thanks to all my circle partners, my wife, Tunel, as well. Small little shout out here to her, because she really is the heart and soul of this place, and she makes everyone feel special every day, and it's very rare to have, and every business needs that. So big shout out to her, and until next time, guys, we out.